Thank you, Manny. How we doing, ladies?
Hey, hi.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Welcome to the Garden of Eden.
I'm Manny.
Manny, okay. Walk on in here and take a look at some of the things.
Oh, is that a bobcat?
It is bobcat, yeah. Some of his tourist attraction was having a little zoo in the backyard. He actually had the coyote, the eagle, owls, pigeons, turtles. Yeah. We had an older tour guide who would actually say he had the first garbage disposal in town because he'd take his garbage out to the turtles.
Yeah.
He was a very progressive man. So his name was Samuel Perry Dinsmoor. They lived around Illinois until they moved to Kansas in 1888. He kind of, got started there with his political ideas of the Populist Party, who was against big businesses taking advantage of the working people, because those train companies were exposing people and saying, hey, this is a great place to come, and they came and it was a hard place.
Yeah.
Kansas was a very hard place.
Kansas was a very hard place.
He started in 1905 to 1907 on the house and then worked 20 more years on those sculptures, pretty much up until he passed away.
Okay.
So one thing I probably want to see here, you do see the picture of the first family here. Well, this is him with his second wife. Emily Broziek. She was born in Czechoslovakia in 1904. She had been a housekeeper for Mr. Dinsmoor.
Okay.
They got married in 1924. He was 81 and she was 20. Yeah.
Talk about sugar daddy,
Yeah,
huh?
well, and 2 children together.
Okay.
They had a son,
You
John.
said they had 2 children
Yeah,
together?
son John and daughter Emily Jane. Yeah, he couldn't just stop with the daughter was the first one. He had to have a son.
Yeah.
Oh
my
so
God.
so they are recorded as the youngest children of a Civil War veteran.
Okay.
And then when Dinsmoor died, he had the mausoleum prepared for him and his first wife to be buried in. So he is buried out there, and he is in his concrete casket that has a glass top on it.
Wow.
So he is viewable, and that was his vision. He knew people would come to see him in that casket and keep the story of these sculptures preserved for years to come.
Yeah. Talk about promotion, huh?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Quite the showman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the sculptures are original, right?
They are all original outside. Yeah, once we go outside, I can kind of show you some of the ideas he was trying to tell about those sculptures.
Let's go. Yeah, does anybody want it? Nobody wants it? You want to do it, man? Okay, I got it. All right, thank you so much.
You bet. Some of the things we look at on the outside of the house here, oh yeah, we've got all kinds of obstacles here for you. As you're looking at the house, like I said, it does look like a log cabin with the corners dovetailed like this. Very sturdy house, very fancy house for the time period. When he started working on these sculptures out here, then it was just him and one man who were working on the sculptures.
Just him and one other person?
Yeah, it was his secret recipe on that concrete. Nobody else knew how he mixed that up. And of course, it was his ideas. He was trying to share his political ideas of the sculptures. So this was his ideas. Nobody else could copy that.
Sure.
He was set up right in town like this. Other houses were around him. He wasn't out in the country first and people grew around him. He actually was set up here first.
Okay, so he wanted to be with all the people.
Yep.
He sounds like a people person.
Yep. So we'll walk on around here. So as you're looking up above the doorway, this is S.P. for Samuel Perry Dinsmoor done in the concrete up there. Now as you look here at this bottle work, at that time Lucas was a dry town. Alcohol wasn't permitted, so he took beer bottles. He filled them up with concrete and then broke the glass away.
Yeah.
So this was not just a ho-hum drum thing. He was having some fun.
Right, he had a sense of humor.
Yeah. So we're going to walk down the steps
After
here
you.
then. So his first sculptures are down here. So this is the kitchen. The kitchen was in the basement here. So this was the kitchen window. And if you turn around and look down there, that is a little self-portrait of Mr. Dinsmoor down there waving at his wife in the kitchen window. And you'll notice that for the eyes on his sculptures, he was using marbles. So he's got blue marbles down there because he had blue eyes.
And it looks as if he was mindful about how the pupils were actually
right,
situated as well.
Yep. So his wife would be downstairs there working in the kitchen. She could always look out and see him waving, and because he was always out here working. You know he had to be out here working all the time. So What we're looking at is this arbor is 2 snakes that go down to Adam and Eve. So we'll walk on down here. Don't get discouraged here. Now as you're looking back and through there, you can tell he was only 5'2". So you have to kind of, bend a little bit there, yeah.
Did Matt almost fall?
Yes, he did. So you're looking at sculptures here. The first ones he did was Adam and Eve. Thinking about the Garden of Eden, he put the sign up, Garden of Eden. And of course, Eve's taken an apple from one snake and Adam is stepping on the head of the other snake. Now when you look back over here behind Adam, you're gonna see the devil. And the devil has a snake in one hand there and a pitchfork in the other hand. So you see all the apples back there, that's the tree of life back in the Garden of Eden. So his biblical side here is pretty much his own interpretation of the Bible. So he had a little fun. You got the storks up here who brought the babies. If you look up underneath those wings of the storks, there's little faces of babies up there. He said that the lights had to be in their mouths, and so the babies had to be underneath the wings because, you know, where else were they going to carry them, you know?
Sure.
And then one of the babies fell out, and he noticed that the devil's pitchfork was aimed right at that baby. So he went back over there and he put a big hand of God stretched up in front of that pitchfork. So that big hand is the hand of God. So a lot of these sculptures, as he worked on them, he actually came back with some more ideas of what he wanted to add to those sculptures. So it wasn't always thinking of it at one time. He would come back and think about something else he wanted to add to it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Oh yeah, bland.
Now we're going to start on more of the modern civilization at that time. That Dinsmoor started this in 1907 when he started on the sculptures themselves. He started the house from 1905 to 1907, so you'll see some of it says cabin home. He called it his cabin home. And this is one of his concrete flags. Now this flag, it has 48 stars on it and the turkey. He was one who felt the national bird should be the turkey rather than the eagle like Benjamin Franklin. But this flag is on a ball bearing system, so it's pretty cool when you get to see it actually move around. And this is more of his political ideas here now. So at that time, the octopus represented those big businesses, monopolies, those tentacles were reaching out after things. So you can see it's reaching up over to the woman, over to the soldier, into his knapsack, trying to get his food, just taking from the working man. And so that is his replication of the monopolies and big business there. Now that gun on the soldier is shooting at an Indian. That Indian has his bow and arrow aimed at the dog on the next tree. That dog is after a fox on the limb, fox after the bird, bird after the worm, worm eating a leaf on the tree. A social Darwinism theory of the big businesses taking advantage of the working people, taking their money from them and stuff. So this was kind of what Dinsmoor was showing, what was happening, and the Populist Party was against that. So he was trying to prove and keep that alive for people to see every day, that warning them, watch out for your money, I guess. So we'll head on into the backyard here. This is the goddess of liberty, and she's dressed in that flag, taking a spear down through that octopus. This octopus representing the big business is a little bit different. It doesn't have the long tentacles. They're kind of cut off, trying to destroy that idea of the big businesses taking advantage of the working people. But he's trying to show that maybe the government should have helped protect those working people there.
It sound right, boy.
And as you look around also up there, you're going to see there's a man and woman with a saw that says ballot on it. They're trying to use their voting rights to destroy big business. So, you know, keeping up with the idea of people needed to keep up that voting rights and, you know, go to the elections and stuff and vote. And we're going to walk on down here. This is everyone's favorite sculpture. It's the labor crucifix. And you can see that the banker and the lawyer are not finished. They are left as he had left them. He was blinded by cataracts in 1930, a couple years before he died.
Yeah.
So you can see that wire armature that's inside the sculptures and stuff. Very cool for people to kind of see what it looked like before he actually finished it.
What you pointing at?
You're trying to figure out this laborer representing Jesus, because the doctor, lawyer, banker, preacher, sacrificial labor. I don't know.
But the laborer is a man working with his hands for his money, and the people around are taking money from him.
Okay.
So it's not just the banker, preacher, doctor, and lawyer. He said thousands of people took from the working man. He included himself. He was charging for tours, taking that money from people too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, he said he did the same thing, taking that money.
The Populist Party was very against doctors and lawyers and business executives because they were all made out of ticky-tacky and they all looked the same. You ever heard that song?
I haven't, but there's a little quote back here.
I believe labor has been crucified between 1,000 grafters ever since labor began. A lawyer, a doctor, a preacher, a banker. I do not say that all grafters, but I do say that they are all the leaders of all who eat cake.
So you're ready to walk in with me? Yes. We'll leave the cameras outside here for now.
All right, Michael, you with me?
I'm with you. We ain't afraid of no
Let me pull this back because of the wind.
Oh. Wow.
So we have his first wife. Her body is underneath here. This is her stone on this side.
Yo, her name's Francis.
And this stone is his. We have the regular picture, the double exposure picture out here of him. And he was part of the Masonic Lodge. Let me make sure my flashlight's working. Are you ready now for the flashlight?
Yes.
All right. There he is.
Wow, he still has his beard.
Oh, man.
He actually had instructions to mummify his body using charcoal substance to dry the body out after they took out all the vital organs. I've heard that maybe he had false teeth because he would
That's why
take them
they're so
out.
straight?
Yeah, he would take
Okay.
them out and kind of scare the kids with. But we never know.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was definitely
We'll take a step back out then and probably BB guns and stuff. Yeah.
You can still see
yeah.
his beard. His teeth are
Get my
like
bright
sticking
back
out.
on.
We can't show you. Maybe there's a picture on the internet. I don't know.
Look at to visit themselves.
Yeah, you guys got to come here yourselves if you want to see that. That's. Oof. Oh, that's cute. Little bunch of little cairns and doll houses.
Yep. Thank you.
This is cool. Like, we've been to a few haunted places, you know, during Strange America, and this is just doesn't seem like one of them. It's just the vibrations here are so positive, and I love that he was a dude that, like, if you told him no and that he couldn't do something, he was like, fuck you, I'm doing it anyway. Like, it's amazing. He was a rebel for sure, and an innovator. This is wild. My favorite part is that he's like, you know what? I don't like bending over to pick up flowers and strawberries and shit. I'm gonna make a little mini pyramid, like right behind you. So he literally built that so he didn't have to bend over to pick flowers up when he would pick flowers. And he was 80, banging a 20-year-old. That's crazy. Good for him. Not even firing blanks at 80, firing live rounds. That shit's crazy. That shit's truly crazy. I like it though. Really good energy.
Lynn.
Lynn, what an absolute sweetheart she is. I love her so much. Also, little unknown fact, we didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up on camera in front of her, but she was on Wife Swap. So make sure you go ahead and check out her episode of Wife Swap. But no, this is cool, man. I like it. This is probably the most actually entertaining places that I've been to without having to bullshit. Like, I liked it a lot. I like Lynn. She's good peeps, good vibes. Good vibes, good times. That's good, Matt. It's real nice. I have a butt on my shirt, too. Nostro papaya. Cut.
All right, guys, be sure to come to the Garden of Eden. Wonderful place. Great slogan. Excellent t-shirt. I can't believe I've been wearing this shirt for so many days. Ooh. Waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka.
You know, I'd say it's disrespectful to do this in front of his mausoleum, but somehow he seems like the guy who wouldn't mind.
He would love this.
I think so too. He would probably have a YouTube channel.
He's making some money. What's it say on the back?
It says, it's waste that makes people poor.